Do you feel stuck at work? Did the person sitting next to you just get promoted and you've been there longer and you're frustrated? Have you jumped between job to job every 12 to 24 months and never found that breakthrough in your career? It's because you're not following these 16 undeniable laws of getting ahead at work, which I've got right here. And number 15 and 16 are absolute game changers that most people will never do. Number 1, this one's obvious. Show up early, leave late when it matters. Showing up early shows to your boss, to your supervisor, whoever, that you're prepared. The fact that you got ready a little earlier, ate your breakfast, got your bagel, made your coffee, and you did that, you thought ahead, you thought through traffic, shows your boss that you are responsible and capable. It's like this little signal, and it's one that is as old as time. Do you have a friend who's always late? Is that the friend that you would rely on if you really needed something? Or do you tend to go to the friends who seem to have their life put together when you need something? It's the same thing in the workplace. If you show in these small little ways that you're dependable, you're more likely, you're signaling to the rest of the company that you're somebody who can be counted on. Now, I'm not saying that you need to always work late, that you need to burn yourself out, but you need to leave late when it matters. If there's a deadline, be a part of the team who stays late, gets it done, hits your goal. Now, I want to also say that showing up early and leaving late all on its own will actually not accomplish much if the work that you do in those hours that you're there aren't very good. But they are these signals that allow you to get ahead. Number 2, solve problems before you're asked. If you see something, say something, do something. If you see something that's just not quite right. I was walking by, one of our pieces of artwork is like hanging, but like we've all been walking past it. Maybe don't be that person. Maybe be the person, even when it's not quite your job or whatever, just notice problems and be part of the solution, even in the smallest ways. Also, don't be the person who always brings every problem to your supervisor. Noticing problems is not what you get paid for. It's literally solving problems, bringing solutions to the table. Ideally, when you point out a problem, you already fixed it. You're actually bragging about how you saw it, fixed it, and they never even knew about it until you brought it up to them, but it's already solved. A lot of employees are able to see problems, they ignore them. Other employees see problems, bring them up with no solutions, and are hoping other people will fix them. And the great employees, the ones getting ahead, are bringing up a problem with a solution that they can either execute on or have already fixed. The third law is make your boss's job easier. This should be clear, like your role in a team should not be to make your boss's job harder. If you think that's your job, you're not gonna have a job. You need to be a part of a team where you're carrying the load. So when somebody is in charge of a department or a company, there is all this weight on them, and your role as a team member is to carry some of that weight. So literally, you should be making the job easier by your presence, not making it more difficult. And there are times where you have employees who actually are dragging. So imagine you're all trying to carry something and everybody else is pushing up and there's one employee trying to pull down. They're actually making it harder for everybody else. And you need to make sure at all times, and especially for your boss, that you are lifting as much as you can to make the overall weight less for everyone else, and especially the person who's going to help you get ahead at work. Number 4, ladies and gentlemen, bring solutions, not complaints. We kind of already touched on this, but very specifically, you need to be a solution-oriented person, not a complaining person. One of the laws at my house, so like we have the 10 morals of the Montgomerys. That's one of the things I've been working on with my kids. But law number 1 is no complaining or whining. And my kids break this law every day. And so do many employees in companies. Are wondering why they're not getting ahead, but the energy that they're bringing is one of complaints. Bring solutions. Think creatively. Think outside the box. Be that type of person. Watch, you will always go farther than the person complaining. And if you think that your complaints aren't being heard, maybe you're just making complaints to one other person or that person that you like to go get lunch with, those complaints are creating an energy and an aura around you that other people are repelled by and are often they're going to limit your influence within the company because they see you as a negative energy instead of somebody who's helping everybody else get ahead. Be the positive, solution-oriented employee. Watch what happens. But if you're out there complaining a lot, it will not get you anywhere. Even if it's not heard, it's felt. Number 5 is do what you say you're gonna do every time. You have to be a person of your word. This is something that my parents taught me very early on in my life was you have to be a man of your word. If you say you're going to do something, do it. The Bible says, let your yeses be yes and your noes be noes. Don't be somebody who says yes to something just because you want to be a people pleaser, or maybe you naturally are a people pleaser. You might even mean well. You really want to do the thing that you're saying you're going to do, but if you don't follow through, it doesn't matter. You have to actually stick to your word and don't overcommit yourself. Let your yes be yes and your no be no. Yes, I can do that, and then actually do it. No, I can't do that yet, but I think I could do that tomorrow or next week. Let your word be your word. A lot of people are overpromising or saying things because they think it's what people want to hear and not actually being a person who can say something and then do that thing. If you are that person, you will get so much further ahead than those that aren't. I guarantee you, it is an undeniable law. You guys ready for number 6? Communicate fast. Silence kills. If you see a problem, if maybe you're confused, you don't have the clarity, you need better communication, you need to communicate. You need to make sure that you don't wait on others to communicate with you, that you take control of communication for your role. You are responsible as an employee to get the communication that you need. If you need someone to give you more clarity, you need to go get it. You need to chase it down so that you have every tool, resource, and most importantly, all of the information you need to do your job properly. Don't wait on other people for that. And if you're seeing an issue, be a person who goes out and instead of keeping silent about it, goes out and brings it up so that we can talk through it and you can be a part of that solution. Let's break this down all the way to the simplest thing. Don't be the person who takes forever to respond to an email. That lowers trust. People tend to trust people who communicate quickly with them because it signals that you care about the same things that they do. If you take too long to get back to people, they will stop coming to you for things. The 7th law, take notes and remember details. I'm holding a pen. You should always have a pen on you, especially if you're around your boss and they're talking to you. Write it down. I even do this when I'm selling. I actually write things down. I will be on a call with somebody and I'm the one selling them, but as they're talking, I write it down. A lot of times I'm writing it down just so I remember what to talk about later with them, so I can listen. It also shows them that I care about them. If you are talking to somebody and they put their head down and they write down what you're saying, you will feel heard. This works incredible in sales, but it also works when you're trying to get ahead at work. You're selling yourself. You're saying, hey, I can do more. I can be counted on. I can go farther with this company. You have to signal trust. And one of the ways you signal trust is you make people feel heard. You make people feel heard by writing down what they say. And then you will actually remember what they said or what was assigned to you. And then you can go execute on that more quickly. If somebody has to come back to you and remind you over and over again what you're supposed to be working on, it's very frustrating for them. They want you to write it down. I have a friend, he calls it this: you need to be a send and delete employee. A send and delete employee is someone that I can send you an email and I can actually delete it from my mind and my inbox and not have to worry about it because I know that you're going to take care of it. If you're not a send and delete employee, what that means for me is I have to chase you down every single time to get updates and follow-ups on what we talked about. That's really frustrating. If you want to get ahead at work, write things down, remember them, and go do them. If you need more clarity, come to the person and ask for more clarity. Don't wait until they follow up. All right, number 8, this might be one of the most important ones in this whole list. Never say, and I mean never, say, that's not my job. I don't even let myself as a CEO say that. If I catch myself wanting to say that or about to say that, I try not to, because the truth is that doesn't work in a company. You need to be the type of person who's willing to be a team player. Some of the employees that have lasted a really long time with me in this company, who've gone really far, been promoted multiple times, are people who, when they saw a ball dropped, were part of the team to go, hey, how do we fix that? How do we pick up those pieces and put it back together? They were not the type of people who go, well, that's another department, not my problem. If you're saying that's not my job, that's not what I'm paid to, pretty quickly they will realize that you're not a good fit for the company. You're not a good fit for their team. You will find yourself out of a job, not promoted within that job. Every time that there is something outside of the scope of your work that you could pick up on, that's actually an incredible opportunity for you to get ahead of work. So embrace that. Never say it's not my job. Always say, how can I help? Number 9, own your mistakes before someone finds them. Make a mistake and you know people are gonna probably find out about it, you need to bring it up immediately. I had an employee when we were just painting houses. I had about 4 painters working for me, and I actually hired my brother, okay? So my brother was being a goofball, and he, you see those videos where people like, you can swing water in a bucket, and it won't spill because of inertia. Well, he thought it'd be funny to do that with paint. Not funny part is he hit the ceiling with the bucket and paint went everywhere. He came over immediately and said, how do I clean this up? The point is, it may not be that dramatic, but any mistake, if you think even if you don't know if they're gonna find out about it, just own it. Say, hey, this happened, already fixing it, just wanted you to know I did make this mistake, but I'm gonna fix it. People who hide mistakes, you can get away with it 2, 3 times. Eventually it does not work. It will be found out and then you're in more trouble. It's like the same thing with kids, right? I so many times I tell my kids, just tell me the truth. What happened? You won't be in trouble. I just want to develop that in them of just own your mistakes. We all make mistakes. Owning your mistakes is literally how you get ahead in life. Dave Ramsey says that success is a big pile of failure. The only difference between someone who's successful and not is that the person who's successful is standing on top of the pile of failure, and the person who's not successful, the failure, is laying underneath their pile of failures. We all make mistakes. Own it and grow from them. Number 10, ask better questions than everyone else. Be curious by nature. If you're in a meeting and somebody's talking about something you don't fully understand, don't just let that stuff go fly above your head. Ask good questions. Ask them, hey, what does that mean? Or I haven't heard that term before. Could you explain that further for us? Ask questions that help bring out better ideas. Ask questions for clarity for the whole team that helps everybody get further ahead. Be the person asking a lot of questions. The person asking a lot of questions ends up with more knowledge given to them. And knowledge is how we get ahead in a lot of things. You have to actually have the knowledge and you have to execute upon it. But the people who ask more questions, get more information, are able to use that information to get further ahead. Here's the caveat though. Don't ask dumb ChatGPT questions that you think maybe sound clever. They need to be real questions rooted in real curiosity. Don't just ask questions to ask questions or talk to just talk. You need to actually have a true heart of curiosity where you're getting more information so you can do more with it. Number 11 is learn the parts of the business that don't belong to you. This goes along with saying that's not my job, right? Like you don't want to be that person, but more than that, you actually want to actively, not just reactively, learn the parts of the business that don't belong to you. So that curiosity that you have from asking questions and from being a team player willing to help pick up pieces and make things better, you need to actually be active in that. Seek it out, not wait for it to come to you. So you could find extra time on your calendar to go to another department and just say, hey, check it out. I really want to learn this company as a whole. Can you spend an hour or 2 with me just educating me on how you do marketing or how you do SEO? Or can you explain more to me about the process behind this operation? I'm just curious. It'll help me understand the company better, which is going to help me be better at my job. Be a curious person, willing to learn more than just your job. This will increase the trust that people have in you. The more well-rounded you are in knowledge of what's going on, the more people will trust in you, confide in you, give you responsibility, more likely to promote you because you have a better understanding and can take on more without having to learn things all afresh because you've already been learning all along. Number 12, add more value than you're paid for. You are a human being. You have intrinsic value just in your existence. But inside of a company, you're paid a certain amount of dollars for a certain amount of output. That's reality. So you need to make sure that the number of dollars that you're paid equals a value higher than those dollars. That's business, right? And those who are entitled and just feel like a check is deserved to them or entitled to them at all times, no matter what they output, just doesn't make any sense. You have to actually be a person that understands business, what it is. Business at its core is about money. It's about the transaction of money for services between clients and businesses and their employees. That's what we do. Yes, we want to have a company with bigger purpose and impact that we're making and all of those nice things. But the truth and the reality of business is it is an agreement of services for money. Services for money between clients and employees. And you want to make sure that you understand that. And then once you understand that, you give more value than what you're paid will lead to you being paid more or trusted with a better role. Number 13. This one's really important. Be the calmest person in the room. This has so much value. And this doesn't mean that you can't be your high energy, dynamic self. It doesn't mean that you can't get frustrated at times. It doesn't mean that you have to be a perfect, calm, cool, collected person all the time. When crap's hitting the fan, be the calm person in the room. This is one of the things that I think that has made me successful in business. There have been seasons where I see other people freaking out and I'm able to take a breath and act calmly and think through what I need to do. And it has gotten me a really long way during seasons where things were hard or people just weren't sure what to do. Don't be the person who goes, yeah, I'll take care of it. And then you're seen just kind of like freaking out. You're scratching your head. You're like high energy, nerves. That freaks other people out. So when things are going wrong or when things are unclear or unsure, be the calmest person in the room. I think this is something I maybe have naturally always had. I remember I once was driving my mom's car when I wasn't supposed to, and I had my buddy in the car and we were going like 100 miles an hour and it was raining. I was like, hey, we're gonna try to take this 90-degree turn as fast as possible. Again, dumb 16-year-old. And so I literally went around the corner at like 75, 80 miles an hour to see if I could do it. It was raining. And we went off the road and we took out about 100 feet of fence. There was fence posts sticking out all throughout the car. Somehow, by God's grace, we were alive. And I remember in the moment, as we started to go off the road, I knew that there was nothing else I could do. And I remember very specifically in like slow motion, I took my hands off the wheel and took my foot off the brake. And I just sat back like this as like I noticed it was too late, we're off the road. I actually let go of everything. The cop, when he showed up and I told him that, he said, that's the reason you're alive. If you had jerked the wheel or slammed the brakes too hard, you guys would have flipped and you both would be dead. And there is power in letting the moment sit, being calm when everybody else is stressed. There is an incredible amount of power that you can have as an employee, as a business owner, having level heads. They say level heads prevail. That is very true, and it only really tested when things are difficult. Number 14, protect the culture. Don't gossip. I want to say this first off though, if you don't like the culture of your company, just move on. This doesn't mean that you cannot change the culture of a company single-handedly. So you actually need to first make sure that you work somewhere that you like the culture. And then you need to be a part of the team that protects that culture. That means don't gossip, don't badmouth others, protect the things that make the company great. Nobody wants to work in a company where it's cutthroat, everybody's tearing each other down. That's not the way that you get ahead. People want to work in a company and people want to work with others. And I promise you, most bosses, at least all the good bosses out there, they want to promote the people who are culture carriers. They're flag bearers for that company's culture and values. Be that person, watch what happens. You will get further ahead. I'll tell you a funny story. The only time that I was ever fired, Red Robin. I got fired because I wasn't a culture fit, and they were right. I was a busser and I thought it was stupid that I had to help sing happy birthday to people. So I would kind of like mouth it and pretend that I was singing, and my boss didn't like that. He should have fired me, and he did. And I'm grateful he did because I moved on to better jobs and I grew up from it, and it was a good lesson in my life. Don't be the person acting like the culture is stupid. Either embrace the culture or get out of it. But if you're gonna stay there and you want promoted within that company, be a culture carrier. All right, we're getting to the final two now. These are the two that I promised most people don't take and run with. Number 15, work like your name is on the door. The people who work like an owner typically end up getting paid like one. You need to work like your name, your reputation is on the line. And the people who take that much ownership of their role and work like an owner, work like their name's on the line, they're the ones that get ahead at work. They're the ones getting promoted. They're the ones getting further and further. The people who act like it's not their problem, not their reputation, what does it really matter to me? They're not the ones getting ahead at work, I promise you. So if you've been passed over for a recent promotion, I promise you part of it is because you don't work like your name is on the door. Imagine if it was your name on the door, your name on the LLC. Would you work differently? Start working that way today. Watch what happens. People will trust you and they will promote you. Number 16, the last law of our undeniable laws of getting ahead at work is be dependable when it's inconvenient. It's easy to be dependable when everything's fine, when your life is going well and your personal life is fine and your work life is fine and you have great team members and things are simple and easy. But when things are difficult, are you dependable? When the workload is more than normal, are you dependable? When there's upset clients and we have to figure out what to do, are you dependable? When there's a deadline that feels unrealistic, are you dependable? When budgets are tight and you're not given the resources you normally were, are you still dependable? Are you dependable when your moods go up and down, when you have bad days and good days? Are you dependable when you show up and you're just tired or a little bit sick and you're not sure what to do? Are you dependable on that day? It's the people who are dependable even when it's inconvenient that are getting further than everybody else. In home services, you always account for waste. For example, if we're measuring this room for tile, we're going to account for 20% of waste. And I think most employees kind of operate day to day that way too. There's at least 20, sometimes 30% of the day that just gets wasted. Don't be that person. If you're taking advantage of the full day and you're being dependable, even when you're not feeling as good or you're not as quite as excited or you're not as motivated, but you're just always consistent and dependable, you're going to get a lot further in your career. I guarantee it. So if you want to get ahead at work, take these 16 laws. You don't even have to master all 16 of them. If you took about anywhere from 4 to 8 of these and really focused on them, just those to start, you would probably get a raise within the next 3 months. You would probably end up being considered for that next promotion. And if you mastered all 16 of these, you might be running the company in 10 years as the CEO, because that's how much you could personally grow. That's how much value that you could eventually add over time applying these laws, where there are many stories. I can't remember her name right now. She ran for president at one point in 2016. She started as a receptionist at HP and ended up being the CEO, ended up then becoming a Republican candidate. That's how well these laws work. You could be that person. You could literally climb the ladder if that's what you wanted to do. Or I've seen this too. Some of the most dependable employees go and start businesses and the CEO or the other shareholders invest in that person's business because that's how much they believe in that person. So there is incredible value in becoming a great employee. And I really believe these 16 laws will help you get ahead.